Well, hello. Uh, you're in here this evening. It's because you are curious about Scion Mythic Shards in general and the Farewell to Heroes chapter in particular, which I believe you're going to be getting a full look at tomorrow. But for this evening, I had the chance, and I wanted to use that chance to introduce the general feel of the game for everyone, uh, give you an idea of how it can play out, the little things that make it different from a regular Scion setting, and also get the chance to play with some other lovely people. So I'm going to start, I think, just with asking people to give general introductions of themselves, not their characters yet. I'll get to that in a moment. So let me go alphabetically. I'm sorry. Um, Coyote, please introduce yourself and why on earth you ended up here.
Hi, my name is Coyote. Pronouns are she, her, or they, them. I'm a TTRPG writer and editor, and I'm here because I really love to play Scion.
Excellent. And David?
Hi, my name is David Castro. My pronouns are they, them, and I am here because I like playing Scion and inflicting myself on all of you.
Very glad to have you inflict yourself on us, as always. And now, Zach.
Hello, I am Zach Reynaldra, he, him. I am here because um, I had the availability to be here. um, and yeah, and I'm looking forward to it.
So, we've got about 3 hours. Take a break at some point. But for the moment, I say we just launch right into things for you. Uh, in keeping with the general sort of cinematic style of this setting, we're going to begin with a little bit of a flashback. You three knew each other when you were about 18 to 20 years old in San Francisco. Whether you were from there, whether you just happened to be living there, going to school there, up to you. But at some point you did cross paths with each other at a little restaurant slash bar underneath a set of apartments called Park's Place. It was called Park Place until, luckily enough, Mr. Park bought it and then thought it would be clever to put in the apostrophe S. Mr. Park, hardworking Korean-American man, very nice, would always throw extra food your way when you got together. But it wasn't him that led to the three of you and a few others connecting at first. It was his daughter, Veronica. Veronica was, I shouldn't use the past tense, that makes it sound like foreshadowing. Veronica was smart and funny and interested and very good at finding people that she thought would just work together. And she was, a few years older than any of you, which made her extra cool, especially if you were at an age where you wanted to drink but couldn't. She was not too particular about some of those limits. So she brought you all together at that point. And what I'd like you to think about now for each of your characters, if you could introduce the sort of person that you were. This is around your origin path level of your life. the sort of person that you were when you met. So your name, general sort of style, vibe, whatever the kids are calling it these days, and what your friends might know about you. Because at this point, this group here are at least, well, were, when this all happened first, at least nominally your friends. Anyone who wants to go ahead can go ahead right now and be first.
I can go. So what you see is a medium build Mexican man, stocky but strong. Uh, by which I mean my name is Rodrigo Veracruz, and I've probably been in the country at this point, maybe let's say 18 months. I work at Park's Place in the back, uh, and because the group is there so often, and I was pulled in by Veronica, I joined the friend group. Uh, but I still, during the day anyway, uh, I wash dishes. I just began to start to cook as well. And there's sort of it's hard to articulate this, but between my very uh quick learned English and the fire in my eyes, I want more than this. I was made for more than this.
Excellent, excellent. Who's next?
So Dwayne was a promising young student athlete. He was had always been tall for his age, and when he stopped growing, the rest of the kids never caught up to him. He was the captain of the football team. Height alone allowed him to see over and have a better view of the field. He was part of some other sports in high school, track and field, javelin, discus, and didn't intend to be a leader. He just was put in that position and has kind of learned how to adapt to it. Things go generally go very well his way at this point in his life. He lives in an apartment, just him and his mom, about a block or so away from Park's Place, and they've been coming here for food since he was a little kid.
Thank you. And Coyote.
My character's name is Jamesina Drogan. She also goes by Jamie. She's always been like incredibly curious and doggedly pursues like anything that piques her interest. She's had plans to become a journalist. Nellie Bly is one of her heroes. And at the moment, I think she's been pursuing her education, but she's also feeling a really weird twang of like maybe this wasn't exactly what she should be doing. But she's had her heart set on it for so long that she's not ready to let go of it just yet. And she's been really struggling with that and feeling for the first time in her life a little bit rudderless.
Well, thank you. So here's where it started. You had three of you. There were some others that dropped in and out. There were some restaurant regulars that may turn up another point. All sort of brought together and connecting with each other, not just through the sort of common thread of Veronica linking you together, but because of that sense that you couldn't quite put into words, that you were meant for something better, that you were meant for something bigger. When you're living at a time when there are heroes and demigods in the world, and maybe you had the first inklings that you might have just been on the edges of that part of society. Maybe there were one or two things that you could do or that you could just intuit without any clear idea of how that could be. But it was still early times. And then it all went very wrong. Looking back on it, people call it the Heracles incident. A terrible name. It mostly, like a lot of things in the modern world, started out almost as a joke name or a meme name. It felt like what happened to the world was what happened to Heracles' first family when he lost his mind and murdered them all. Except it happened globally. 3 days and 3 nights. That was all. That was as long as it lasted. But when it happened, other worlds seemed to crash into the world. Underworlds opened up. Golden chariots fell from the sky. Bodies of great beings dropped out of the heavens. And this was happening everywhere to everyone. In some cases, to different degrees. Some people managed to get off relatively lightly, but other people didn't make it through, and other things didn't make it through. And after those 3 days, it was over. And everything went back to normal. And there was only one sun in the sky, and the moon didn't have big bites taken out of it. And everything that had appeared in the world from elsewhere was taken back to where it came from. But as you can imagine, everybody was traumatized. It didn't take long for governments to leap into action. In fact, they got themselves together so fast that it's almost like they were expecting something like this for a long time. And they created Titan, Transnational Initiative to Analyze and Naturalize. Sounds very nice. It is not. While making it very clear that they had no issues with the gods, Scions had become more trouble than they were worth. And people blamed Scions for whatever it was that the Heracles incident was. So they started tracking them down. And they started either hunting them in lethal ways or capturing them, or, as they put it, naturalizing them, which means forcing them to register, accept the fact that they were going to be under surveillance for the rest of their lives, and never use any of their powers again. That was 7 years ago. And as soon as the incident happened, even though the group of you knew that you were just on the edge of becoming something greater, the only safe thing for you to do it seemed, was to disappear for a while. You may have been loosely in touch since then, but for the most part, you've been on your own. You have been on your own until you all get a message from Veronica Park. Whether by email, written letter, call, text, whatever, it gets through to you. And the message is, please come back. I need my heroes. So I guess my first question is, from how far away are you people likely to be coming to get to San Francisco? You still in the city? Outside? Fernando Po? Anywhere?
How much does fate intervene? I have to wonder.
It's gonna lend a bit of a hand.
Then I can say who I am now. I'm probably performing in San Francisco.
Perfect. And the others?
I think that I've stayed in the city as well because there's so much work to do, trying to reunite people. This is as good a place as any to set up shop to do that.
Good, good. And for Dwayne?
Dwayne is working on a farm outside of Walnut Creek.
Where is Walnut Creek?
Kind of in the middle of San Francisco to Stockton.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm Canadian. My entire image of San Francisco is entirely imaginary. So
I've actually been to Walnut Creek once.
then,
If
one
it
way
also
or
helps,
another.
it's, go to San Francisco, go to Berkeley, and then keep going the same amount of distance, you'll be about in Walnut Creek.
So one way or another, the three of you regather. If you have been outside of San Francisco for a while, the place is different than you remember it before. I mean, every large city is different than you remember before. The most important change, sure, there are more security cameras around. There's generally more of a surveillance feel. That's to be expected. That's happening in a lot of cities. Post Heracles incident, though, there's one additional touch. People have started to put up wards that detect supernatural activity in the area. Like security cameras, a lot of them don't work. They're just there for show. But larger, more densely populated places that have more important buildings in them, corporations, banks, Titan offices, those have much more sophisticated equipment up. Out of character, I'll let you know that at the level that your knacks work, you're probably not going to trigger any of these unless you outright go and straight up murder someone with a supernatural power. That does tend to set off alarms. But otherwise, heroic knacks, you can pass them off as I'm just really good at whatever it is that I'm doing at the moment, hammering things into shape with my thumb. Nobody raises an eyebrow at that. Anyhow, so there is a bit more of a paranoid feeling to this place. People are on edge. Fortunately, Park's place hasn't changed much in the last 7 years. It is, though, the first time that you get to see each other now. So, reintroductions. 7 years have passed. What, if anything, has changed in how you look, how you present yourself, the sort of person that you are?
I can go first again. So 7 years have passed, and while I haven't grown up, I have grown out. I'm a lot more buff. I'm covered in tattoos and almost typically only dress in a tank top. Um, uh, you would know because you know me, but unlike, but outside in my actual life, I no longer work in kitchens. I work on TV as a professional luchador in uh, professional wrestling. I've had a few characters, especially when I go in these 7 years, I've gone back to Mexico to work there, then to Japan, because we always go to Japan. And now I'm here back in America as the Iron Man. When I work on screen, it is in a luchador mask, but no one there knows it's the person under the mask that is the actual secret identity.
And the others?
Wayne looks defeated, if you remember him from before. The bright-eyed young man who was ready to go off to college to play football on national television is long gone. He's not actually shorter, but he does appear to be good 2 to 3 inches shorter just because of how he carries himself, how he's hunched over. He's grown out his facial hair a little bit to kind of partially because of just not caring for it. Maybe sometimes it's for it's kind of matted and tangled in places that someone caring for their appearance might have, gone through the trouble of putting out. His jeans are dirt and oil stained from working on machines and working on a farm.
Thank you.
Jamie seems to have found her purpose. She has opened up a private investigation office where she's trying to help either reunite people who were separated during the incident or at least provide closure for people who have been separated from someone during the incident. Um, she did not grow up to be a journalist, but she still puts those interrogatory skills to use and seems pretty stressed, but at the same time, very sure of herself, very confident, very at home in her choices.
Right. Thanks to fate, you arrive at the restaurant probably fairly close to the same time as each other. It's been remodeled a little bit. Remodeled, that's the word. I've been trying to think of that word all day. It's like decorated? No. Three, it's more than that. Refinished? No, you do that to furniture. Anyhow, it's been remodeled a bit in the last 7 years. It's still a nice old Art Deco-ish kind of place that used to be attached to a residential hotel up above it. That Mr. Park has turned into apartments. And he runs the entire thing. It's all rather nice. But you arrive around the same time. Maybe it takes a few moments for you to recognize each other. But Veronica looks virtually unchanged. A little bit older, maybe around the eyes, maybe a few more little wrinkles, but still much the same. And she absolutely lights up almost to the point of tears when she sees you. I will give the three of you moments to, I don't do in-character introductions or hellos amongst yourselves, and then I will carry on.
I run to her and I literally pick her up, swinging around hugs, so exuberantly overjoyed that she is there.
Okay, yeah, so the almost crying part really only lasted about 2 seconds. They're happy tears. And certainly she holds on to you back and just says loud enough for all three of you to hear, I have missed you all so much. Missed you all. And sort of signals to the other two. She's not exactly squirming to get out of Rodrigo's arms because she knows that would be pointless. She's seen his character sheet. But wants to bring you all in at least to a group hug.
Definitely, there is more than enough room to go around, though Dwayne might be pushing it.
Yeah, Dwayne is cautiously just looking around as he makes his way into the building, kind of looking over his shoulder, looking to see who's behind him, what's outside, that sort of thing as he approaches, and is going to kind of, when it is his turn to hug Veronica, will kind of, lift her up, give her a great big hug, and is still turning so that he can keep an eye on the door while and not fully giving himself into his emotion, but still trying to be present in the moment because he's got an eye out for something.
You are in luck with the way that the restaurant's set up. The front of it facing onto the street, large glass door, glass panels on the side. So you get a view that's like maybe 1.5 car lengths wide directly onto the street. So you can see a fair amount. Looks empty at the moment. One thing that you do notice in your slow turn is someone that you, I won't say had forgotten about, but didn't originally make a huge impact on you. Veronica's younger brother, Julian. He was about 10 when you were in here last, but now he's 17 and he's gone from kid to not gangly, wiry sort of adult. He's dressed in black, so he must work here. He's sort of hovering off by the kitchen too. Clean shaven, decent looking, turned out all right. And he's just sort of watching as all you came back in, and as you expect, probably a lot of memories from 7 years ago are starting to filter back up. And finally, Jimsina.
Jamie's always been kind of aloof and not so much a hugger. But she does approach Victoria and say hello and smile, but there's no hugging. She's got her hands in her trouser pockets the whole time.
All right. Well, you get, out of curiosity, has this been a long-term thing for Jamie? Would someone who knew you 7 years ago know, she doesn't really hug people?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. In that case,
Yeah,
no
no, it's not a
emphasis.
big deal.
You get a respectful nod.
I
And
definitely go to hug her, but then right before I do it, I remember, wait, no huggies.
Hello, Rodrigo.
I I can't believe you all made it here. I asked some other people, but they didn't get back to me. But I didn't know what else to do. Things are. You want to sit down? Have some. I can bring. I can make sure you've got some food, and we can just talk. Um, Dad's in the back office somewhere. He's been on the phone for ages, but I know he'll want to see you as well. Veronica and Julian's father, Mr. Park, has always just been known as Mr. Park. Presumably he has a first name, but you were never quite on those sorts of terms before, and it seems to be staying that way.
Rodrigo definitely refers to him as Senor Mr. Park.
Ushered over towards, the sort of booth table that you used to share before. Food, drinks come out. If you want to do any conversation, catching up among yourselves or each other, feel free to do it now. Otherwise, I will move on.
I definitely hand out free passes to the show, presumably this weekend. Everybody can get one and a +1.
Thank you. I'm not sure who I would be taking, but it's awfully generous of you uh for the invitation.
Of course, of
Jamie
course.
looks at Dwayne over her coffee mug and like really scrutinizes him. Says, "Dwayne, you look like shit. What happened to you?"
I, I've been working in sometimes in shit, so that kind of happens sometimes, I guess.
This
He
is
doesn't
noble
look like
work.
he's buying it.
This is noble work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't look like I'm buying it. So she doesn't say anything. She doesn't call you out on it, but
Yeah. After you get some sort of collection of coffees or whatever else, or I don't know, for people who seem roughly the size of Dwayne and Rodrigo, an entire cow. I don't know what gets brought to you. You get things to eat. Is Julian sort of bringing them out, though he stays just dead quiet throughout? He's sort of looking a little anxiously at all three of you, sets things down, scuttles off. Veronica sits down. We're having a problem here, and I thought because of the sort of people that I felt you were before, you'd be the people to help. I need people I can trust as friends, because this is more than I can deal with, and I don't think Dad can deal with it either, though he isn't talking about it much.
what happened?
It probably doesn't look like it right now, but We're just on the edges of a war. Um,
With war? With who?
on one side, Iron Will Stanley. Now, Jamie, at the very least, will have heard of this man. Real estate developer, organized crime connections that nobody has ever really been able to prove, some solid political connections. He is wealthy, he balances, we'll call it aggressive gentrification with occasional intimidation, threats, arson, maybe just a soupçon of murder. Nothing's ever been proven.
As a treat.
Yeah. Yes, as a treat, you can murder someone. So, on the one side, we've got Iron Will Stanley trying to buy his way into this neighborhood. I mean, it's a lot of the people around here, they don't have that much. And he's just going after building after building. The ones he's picked up, he's just going to tear down and build something new there. He hasn't managed to touch this one yet. On the other side, Freshta Afridi. Anyone who hasn't been completely out of touch knows her name. Tech entrepreneur, not a tech bro, but a tech sis, for the sake of balance. She is also rich. She has a lot of slightly creepy ideas about making areas into essentially high-tech company towns that, you know, redesign the area for workers in her various companies. She is closely tied to Titan and provides a lot of their technological, though not occult, equipment. And there's always news of her just going off on some slightly odd little tangent about, you know, how to run the most efficient neighborhoods with thanks to, you know, AI and high technology. Afridi wants this neighborhood as well. She wants to use it as a test to show off that she can run it more efficiently than the city can. And they're starting to close in on both sides. I'm worried that this is going to be the place, this restaurant, this building. My father's been running for 30 years now and goes back a lot longer than that. That it's going to be right at the center of things. Just not, we don't know how to fight back. I don't know if that's something you can do or help with. But it is something I need.
Both of them need to go.
Yeah. It's hard to take out multimillionaires these days. Well, take I don't mean take out. I just mean get them off our back. We've been lucky so far. Because I don't know how, but there's only so long we can put these things off, I think. Is it something you can help with?
Maybe. How do you envision us starting down this road? I mean, have there been any offers on the land from either one of these guys, or?
I think so. Dad, I think Dad's keeping things from me. I don't think he's telling me everything that's going on. I can tell he's getting stressed. But anytime I bring it up,
Is
no,
Mr. Park there?
yeah, he's in. She looks over to the back, and uh, Rodrigo knows the basic layout of the back here. You've got the kitchen through one way, and then through the kitchen, there's his little office. And you see him just coming out the kitchen door, sort of gives a little pat to Julian's head. Julian is still hovering around the entrance to the kitchen watching this table.
Senor Mr. Park, it has been a very long time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be who I am now without your help when you hired me to work here all those years ago, almost a decade now.
Nods quickly, smiles, mops at his head with a handkerchief.
Whatever is going on, I need you to tell us so we can help you. We don't want to see this place go.
It's no. This place isn't going to go. No. Everything is going to be all right. I don't know what Veronica's been telling you. It'll all be good. It'll all be good. As he's saying that, is Dwayne still in his watchful mode?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Just as Mr. Park's saying that you see 3 cars pull up out front. Black SUV, black sedan, black SUV behind. SUV. Yes, that works. Could be a black USB. I don't know.
Could have been a Subaru SUV.
Well, there we go. They pull up. Jamie at the table is at the moment the nearest one to Veronica. Sort of just catches a glimpse of it. Oh gods, that's him. That's Mr. Stanley.
How does Mr. Park react?
He again mops his brow a little, tries to straighten up. Anyone seeing him closer, he's aged more in these past 7 years than he has any right to, really. He looks just more frail. Someone who is up closer to him, which would be Rodrigo, can see his hands are trembling a little bit, and they never used to.
Quick question.
Sure.
You said this was a Korean restaurant, right?
It's Korean owned. The food is mixed. They went through a whole West African kick a few years ago. It still turns
Korean
up occasionally.
fusion.
But yeah, Korean fusion.
So I'm gonna harken back to when it was less fusiony, and is it safe to say they probably still have the same chopsticks they had before, which is to say metal ones, because this is a Korean restaurant.
Yes, oh master of improvised weapons, they do.
I still have my chopsticks on me when I got up.
Okay. Now, I am about to describe a whole bunch of things that will be happening fairly quickly. Interrupt me at any point you want. If your character wants to leap into actions. So it goes like this. Mr. Park straightens himself up. He's got a jacket on, even though he looks like he's much too hot for it. Takes a breath. goes towards the door. Oh, they've modernized it. The door actually slides open now. Fancy. We're just getting to the doorway. Veronica stands up from the table to follow after. Outside, from the black sedan, two people get out of the front seats. In the driver's seat, a man who is not very large, and from the passenger seat, a man who is not very small. The less large of the men, nice suit, tie, he has a sort of business thuggery look to him. The bigger man, I don't know if any of you pay weirdly enough attention to fashion these days to notice that large muscular men are wearing suits that are just much too tight for them.
Yeah.
They're not a good look. They have
And
been
not
judged
well
by,
fitted.
no, they have been judged by the menswear guy. Just saying. The big guy.
love this
Movement.
The big guy is dressed like that as he unfolds himself from the car.
Got a collar gap.
Yes, he's got a collar gap. How dare he? It was it. As the two of them sort of look at each other across the hood of the sedan, I assume that all of your attention is in that general direction. Yeah. Okay. You see a pair of motorcycles speeding down the street. And well, if you have the front of the building here, they're coming straight on. Now, when I say motorcycles, I do actually mean with riders. Yay. They're not motorcycle centaurs. Also, yay. It's when they pull out the guns that things get a little shakier. They are. I'm Canadian and old, so small gun, make many bullets go fast. That is the extent of my knowledge of firearms.
Mac-10s, it's fine. I'm going to jump in.
Okay.
I am going to grab Mr. Park by his jacket that is way too hot to be wearing. And I am push-pulling, let's call it a spade, throwing him through the kitchen door away from all of this nonsense.
Right. Hold on to that action for the moment. Dwayne, up to anything?
Dwayne is slowly getting up and making his way towards the front door.
Okay.
He is standing up much taller than he entered the building in.
The mountain moves. Okay. Dwayne rises. Jamie.
Jamie puts herself between Veronica and everything else.
All right. David, could you roll? Actually, yeah, don't worry about rolling. I seem to remember you've got a lot of dice in athletics and presumably might as well.
A few.
Yeah. You can.
There is a number.
There is a number. So long as that number is higher than, we'll say 3 or so combined.
It's 9.
It's 9. Yeah. You
Oh, you jacked.
You can make him do a flip on his way. No. So yeah. So Rodrigo can just grab Mr. Park, throw him gently enough that that you don't accidentally kill him. That would be hilarious and bad. Um, but throw him out of the way. Dwayne getting up, moving towards the door. Jamie stepping between Veronica and the door.
Very calmly, yeah.
Because she's reacting a little more slowly. I didn't think I asked. I think Jamie is one of the characters here who actually has firearm skill. Does she carry a firearm?
Yes.
Okay.
I have 1 dot in firearms.
Yes. Yes.
Do you carry a gun?
No,
Yeah,
I don't.
No.
Guns.
I am, regardless of what else is going on, still a brown man in America. I'm not carrying a gun. No.
No, you learned your way around them, like doing a bit of stunt work for shows and just being on TV and film sets. So you've got the basics of safety, the basics of how they work. Ta-da! That's 1 dot. Okay, so yes, just curious about the small magic metal shoot fire thing. Unsurprisingly, in only a moment, the people on the motorcycles, again, there are 2 of them, open fire.
This escalated so quickly.
Yes, does tend to do that.
I was like, how do we deal with 2 of these threats at the same time? I guess we don't.
So just to clarify,
Yeah.
all 3 of the cars that originally pulled up were together and have emptied out?
Only 2 people have stepped out of the cars. The bigger of the 2 is on the side that the motorcycles are coming from. Smaller of the 2 is on the side that has cover from the car itself.
Okay.
Motorcycles are coming straight on. No one else seems to have reacted just yet, but things are happening quickly and you can't see all of those other cars quite yet.
The smaller guy was the driver, right?
Yes.
Okay. How is he reacting to the gunfire?
2 things. First, he ducks, which he doesn't have to do very much, thankfully. Ducks down, pounds on the glass of the back seat of it. Tinted glass, can't really tell, and just says, "Sir, stay inside." Now the opening of fire. Oh, let's see. Any of you particularly want to be shot at? I mean, if you want to volunteer for being a target, I think Dwayne and Jamie are the 2 most likely to take a bit of accidental fire.
Sure, I'll be a target.
Okay. I'll see if it's even worth asking what your defense is. Well, I suck. Okay.
You okay there?
Nothing happens.
Yay!
You hear the bullets spray all over. And there is a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise. There is absolutely no one got hit. Yeah. Okay. From your character sheets, I don't have them up in front of me just now, but rather than rolling things, let's let me know what the 3 of you have as your initiative scores for whatever you might be wanting to do.
3 plus combat skills. Combat skills would be a feat of throwing something would be athletics, right?
Yes, it would.
8.
Okay. Let's see. Jamie?
I have 4 plus combat skill. which is going to be firearms, I guess.
All right. Hmm. And Dwayne.
Would
Probably should
getting
have said that made that 7.
So
Thank you
8.
for actually giving us a number.
I mean, I was
would
looking at the sheet and I'm like, everyone's looking at this, right? Everyone at home? Cool.
yeah.
I definitely copy and pasted mine to a different sheet.
Making his way through this mayhem to the car with the empty driver's seat. Would that be survival?
Yeah, let's do that.
Then that's going to be an initiative of 6.
Okay. So it looks like it will be Rodrigo, Jamie, Dwayne.
Cool. So, are the gun people still around, or have they already peeled off?
It looks like they're getting ready to turn down the street, presumably to hang their heads in shame because they suck as hitmen.
Cool. About that, they each get a metal chopstick as if it was a dart. Voop, voop, using Death by Teacup.
Right. Do you want to hit them? Do you want to hit the motorcycle?
Ooh, these are options I did not consider. Let's make it fun for everybody. Let's hit the motorcycles.
Okay.
Let's pop a tire if I can.
All right. So you're throwing it, so that's going to be athletics plus,
Might.
yeah, dex or might, whichever you prefer.
I'm going for strength here. Choose to give it tags comparable to a crafted one.
So yeah,
Can't remember weapon tags right now.
The only important thing that you need is that all weapon tags include getting 1 enhancement if you use them for their proper purpose, which you are naturally doing right now.
Cool.
So this, yeah, none of the other ones are really going to matter. So
Piercing.
Piercing would help.
oh, yeah.
Am I rolling each chopstick individually or as a group?
For the sake of speed, yeah, split your die pool in half and
Split it in half. Okay.
roll it for each of them. Normally, don't let you do
Round up or round down?
one of them gets more, one gets less.
Cool. First one gets 5 dice. 5 dice. At this level, it is 8 again, right? Or sorry, 8 successes.
Yes. Yeah. Target number is 8.
Cool. First one misses.
Second one.
The second one, though, gets a 10. I forget if I re-roll 10s again. I think I
Yes,
do.
you do. Yeah.
Cool. That is 1 plus the pun enhancement, 2 successes on the second one.
That is enough. That's going to be enough just to send that motorcycle flying. You know, if someone's going along on a bicycle really fast and you just stuck a tree branch, you know, in among the spokes. This is nothing like that because it's going a whole lot faster. and
I'm always doing that.
Yeah, you seriously messed up the tire there. So one of the motorcycles, just as it's starting to turn away, just flips. Jamie.
I would like to take a shot at the other motorcyclist's tire.
Everyone's being so nice and going for tires. All right.
Yeah.
Call that Dex and Firearms.
Dead men tell no tales.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. All right. Dex and firearms. Firearms is 3. Dex is 3. That's 6. So okay. Can you? I've got, let's see, a 6, an 8, an 8, a 10, and a 6.
All right. So anything 8 or higher is a success. The 2 10s, you can roll again and see if you get even more successes out of that.
Okay, so I had 2 8s and 1 10. I'll re-roll the 1 10,
Okay.
and that is a 7.
Not quite, but you've got 3 successes. And definitely enough to do that. This is sort of thing, if we were feeling fancier, you'd be saying, well, I will do a stunt to effectively trip the motorcycle. But you do. It's a nice sort of moment for the two of you that these two actions happen close enough together that it's hard, or it will be hard for any witnesses to figure out exactly who did what. Now,
Excellent.
Dwayne, you were moving toward the car. You've just seen this really horrendous kind of wipeout of motorcyclists on the street. What do you want to do? You can shift your action a little bit. You can.
No, I want to take the car.
You want to hop in the car?
Yeah, top of the car, and I'm going to drive off.
Okay.
The motorcycles were coming towards this car, and they have shot and drove past.
Yeah, and then they kind of wiped out.
So yeah, I'm going to drive in the direction that they came from.
Okay. So hop into the car. There's no keys.
That's okay.
Okay.
Innate toolkit.
Nice.
Okay.
Start the car up and head out.
Okay. First thing that you're going to realize is that you do have someone in the back seat. As soon as you hop in, close the door, start the car up. Middle-aged man, clean shave, well, middle-aged, 60-ish. Nice sort of dark suit, doing that, oh my God, really trying to look like a mafioso look, black suit, black shirt, black tie, da 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 da. But looking, we're going to say, a little bit scared at the moment. And so you're trying to pull in the direction that the motorcycles came from.
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to say easily enough done to get yourself in that direction. On the outside of the car, everyone else starts to go. The big guy, who is on the side that now has a couple of motorcycles on the street and some prone bodies, sort of stomps over to the nearest of the bodies, picks the guy up by the scruff of his neck and looks at him. Doesn't say anything, he just kind of stares. The smaller man who was on your side of the car, who had stepped back a little bit and therefore given you enough room to be able to go into the passenger or into the driver's seat that he was just in, you get this brief glimpse of an oh no kind of look as he sees someone else and someone big get into presumably his boss's car. But he's just staring in disbelief and horror. After that, we sort of do things in a bit reverse order because I really want to hear what Dwayne wants to do right now. It'll take probably a little bit longer to happen than what other people do, but I want to get you on your road. so to speak.
All right. Are the other two cars following?
Nope, not yet.
Interesting. Okay. So I'm gonna get the goal here is the guy to talk about what the hell just happened and why are they trying to kill him? And how can he trust his guards when they let a random person come into the car he was in, take it from them, and the other two cars aren't following?
Not yet. It's only been a couple seconds.
That's enough for him to start getting to kind of get these ideas in his head.
Well, there's
And
a little bit of hesitation. So let me just play out some of this conversation. Who the hell are you?
who the hell are you that people are trying to shoot at you in broad daylight?
My name is Wilmarth Stanley. Stop the car.
No, I was having a perfectly good lunch, and then your presence screwed it up. So I'm going to take you somewhere away from my lunch so you don't screw it up when I go back.
Who do you think you are?
I am absolutely nobody.
Then they won't miss you.
How many nobodies do you think there are out there who may be tired of your bullshit and could just be here, stepping into your car and driving off with you?
Tell me, is this a kidnapping or are you auditioning for a part? Obviously, I might have a space opening up soon.
You might, yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself and I'll decide which it is.
Let me hold that there for just a moment. Back in the entrance to the restaurant or thereabouts. Rodrigo and Jamie, what would you like to do? We aren't strictly in combat at the moment, unless you want to be. So let me know what you're doing.
So both of the gunmen are on the ground.
They are both on the ground. Thankfully,
Is it safe to say the glass front of the restaurant is gone?
Actually, no. No, seems to be fine.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
these guys
That's
suck.
how badly they missed.
Man, you just can't buy good bike gunmen anymore. It's a shame, really. So I'm going to run at the doorway as it's sliding open. I am, for lack of a less cringe term, parkouring myself over the sedan to be on the same side as the not so small man and the two gunmen.
Right. Yeah, and this will be happening like just about as the sedan is pulling away with Dwayne behind the wheel. So you manage to catch like back part, the trunk side of it.
I definitely do like a flip as well, because that's who I am.
Cool.
It's not even a thing I'm like doing on purpose. But I've seen dudes like this before. Not exactly like this, but a suit, not a suit. I've seen this kind of dude before. What do I got to do to sweep the leg?
You're talking sweeping the leg of
Of
big
the
guy?
not so small guy.
close combat. I think tripping someone would be a fairly low-end stunt. I seem to remember it's just a couple of successes, but I will look that up. It's definitely going to be a might plus close combat thing.
Cool beans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is unfortunately 1 success.
Nice. Let me just look up one thing quickly to see. There we go. Wow. We make it weirdly easy to trip people in this game.
I was about to say, like, how much water does the argument I'm a improvised weapon hold? Probably not a lot, but I have to ask the question.
Sadly, it does not help. There we go. Oh yes, these people.
So yeah, I am trying to trip him.
Okay. You got how many successes total?
1.
Sweep that. Oh my God. It's like trying to sweep an oak tree. Your leg goes in for the sweep. He doesn't move. You're not even sure he noticed. Man,
I'm a high flyer. This guy's a monster. It's a whole thing.
Jamie, what would you like to do?
So first I'm going to kind of like turn over my shoulder to Veronica and ask, "Are you okay?"
I think so. Where did my father go? Last you saw, he was moving quickly towards the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of jut my chin in that direction and tell her, go make sure he's all right. I'm gonna go out here.
Okay. She heads off to the kitchen. You are what? Heading onto the street?
Yes, I'm heading toward one of the motorcyclists, the one whose tire I shut out.
Okay. So,
We're gonna have a talk.
yeah. Right. So we've got one motorcyclist midair, one motorcyclist on the ground, feeling the harsh, unforgiving nature of gravity and acceleration. And we've got Rodrigo up there. The sedan has just pulled away. This is probably enough time for the pair of SUVs to finally get their act together and go on in pursuit, because it's just embarrassing if you lose your boss like this. This is coming out of their paychecks. Okay. Flip back over to in the car with Dwayne. Mr. Stanley in the back, still sitting up very straight. So what is it that you want? I came here because I was to meet with Mr. Park about a private matter. Do you work for him?
I work for Mr. McDonald. You probably don't know him.
I don't.
He has a farm up in Napa.
His eyes narrow suspiciously.
The winery has had a special place for our deliveries for Mr. Parks for the past several years. You wouldn't be missing meeting with Mr. Park to do anything that would disturb the deliveries. in our relationship with Mr. Park now, would you?
What I wanted to speak with him about has nothing to do with your deliveries.
Well, then you
Nothing
can
to do with you at all.
surely feel free to chat about what you were going to talk about.
With him,
Yeah.
yes. So
If it has nothing to do with me, it doesn't hurt you to tell me. You have nothing to hide from me then if it doesn't involve me.
just sort of, well, he's either looking at the back of your head or looking at your reflection in the rearview mirror, or both.
I'm looking at him through the rearview mirror, while as best I can keep me out of the road and looking past him to watch for the vehicles following.
Okay. Yeah, they're starting to catch up. So you might be on a bit of a time limit for your conversation,
Okay.
depending. I said, wanted to talk to him to get his advice. It's a private matter. It doesn't have to do with business. In fact, I wanted to talk to him to try to avoid any trouble. The rest I take up with him, not a delivery man.
That's fair. All right, fine. Dwayne is going to take a right turn.
The SUVs continue to follow after. All right. Let's go back to Rodrigo and Jamie. Rodrigo, fortunately. Oh, wait, sorry. The big guy. I didn't even bother with his action because I sometimes think he's just a force like continental drift. It doesn't really do all that much in any given turn. He sort of vaguely notices your attempt to sweep his leg. He looks down at you and then, not very elegantly, but effectively, just slams the other man into the pavement.
What I was trying to avoid.
This has a bit of an effect that you'll notice instantly, that Jamie will notice a split second afterward. So these bikers, both of them, how can I describe them? I would say stereotypical, but specifically stereotypical 1970s, maybe early 80s. Long hair, really surprisingly large mustaches.
Fringe on the vests.
Yep, fringe on the vest, t-shirts with, and this is when the penny drops for both of you, for different reasons. For Jamie, it's because they're wearing t-shirts from a reasonably popular show about biker gangs and an undercover cop who's working there to bring them down. For Rodrigo, because when the guy hits the ground, the wig and mustache come off, and you've worked with this guy before. Stuntman, low end. Yeah, him. You remember it was him and his brother, the McKean brothers. That's what they're called. Brad and Marco. You're not sure which one is which. But yeah.
Whichever one just got slammed. Is he still alive? Is he still moving at all?
Oh, he's still alive. He's in pain. But
Okay.
yep. Still alive there on the ground, kind of writhing a bit. This seems like one of those sorts of situations where the only sensible thing to do is, in fact, to writhe a bit in pain. So, the two of you What do you want to do?
There's no elegant way to put this. I want to kick the dude in the nads. Because I'm down there anyway. I might as well.
Might as well. Well, when you say the dude, we do have to narrow this down. The big one.
The large guy who just slammed the biker.
All right. Yeah. That'll be another close combat roll. And for Jamie, what do you want to do while this is happening?
So the biker has in all of this dropped his gun, surely.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. So he is, as far as I can see, unarmed.
Yep.
And which part of him seems to be hurting the worst at this moment? Does he have like maybe a leg injury? Is his knee looking a little gnarly and bent like a dog's?
It looks like his right arm, which is the one that was holding the gun, kind of got smashed up a bit under him when he went off of the bike. I mean, he's abraded along his right side, but that's the one that seems to be the most serious problem at the moment.
So I would like to step on that arm lightly at first.
Yep.
And
actually high-pitched scream.
Can I tell if he's also wearing like a fake mustache at this distance? Okay, so I'd like to lean down and rip that off of him and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Do. They weren't real guns. Meanwhile, Rodrigo, make another close combat roll.
Is it different from the first one?
Same dice pool.
So
close combat.
For the first one, I got 3 successes. Yep. Another roll. Here we go. This one, I have a 7 and 2 10. So far that's 4 successes.
4 successes.
So that was 3 on the first one, 4 on the second one. I'm uncertain as to why we're doing a second one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, that was me missing the first one. But because I missed it, we'll treat it as 4 successes.
Okay.
Now, you can be rewarded for my ADHD. Now, bit more solid. I assume you're going for an injury condition?
Yeah, a injury called a steel toe to the nads.
Okay. You kick.
The face my wife made as I said that.
It thankfully does not make a sort of, clang of metal on metal sound that maybe for an instant you thought it would. He does flinches a little bit, tenses. Well, at least now you have his attention, which is why he's going to take a shot back at you.
Let's go.
All right. You can roll your defense dice to try to get your defense up where it is. And I will just check to see.
Having only played faces in Scion, I haven't actually done much combat. My dice pool on defense is my defense score, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's average.
So your basic defense is 1 plus the number of successes you got.
Oh, so 2 then.
Okay. 1, 2.
Stop counting.
I got more dice to go.
Oh, dice. I thought you were counting successes.
Well, I was counting successes.
Oh no. Oh, here we go.
What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? It's just a big, meaty backhand to you,
Ow.
enough to inflict a bruised injury condition, um, which we're going to call just a ringing in your ears for a little while. Mental actions, a little trickier until you get a bit of time to settle down, and even then, until it heals or you get a bit of first aid. It's not quite a concussion, but it's concussion adjacent. It is on the bus route to concussion. All right. Fortunately, after that little slap fight, kick slap fight, he does seem to get distracted by Jamie, or at least by the fact that Jamie has got at least one person pinned down, and the other guy honestly not going anywhere. So
Ruh-roh.
the big guy is just sort of looking at the two of you.
Don't look at me.
Look at me. I'm not here.
Do not perceive.
Give you just a few more moments, then I'll switch back over to Dwayne, and then the other thing happens because not enough things are happening all at once. What's that going to do? Right. From the other side of where the sedan used to be, from on the street, after several seconds of not really being able to react all that fast, the smaller of the two men just says,
Oh, I forgot about that guy.
yeah, I know. That's his gift. Bill, stop it. Stop it right now. Stop it right now. Got bigger problems. You two, you behind this? You're not sure whether he's pointing at you two, as in the two who are standing, or you two, as in the two who are on the ground. It's just a general sort of, yeah.
You two who?
Any of you. Starts checking around for his cell phone. Meanwhile, in the car, how about this? You take me back to the restaurant so I can finish my business there. It looks like you got me out of some trouble, so naturally I'm grateful for that. But you keep driving me around like this, young man. You're only going to make it worse for yourself.
Takes for another right-hand turn, a little harder than he needs to.
Okay. Sorry, it's so whimsical over here. Ooh, no. Yeah.
Well, there's not much more that I'm good at than making things harder on myself than they need to be.
Maybe it's time for a change in your life.
So you have no idea why they were shooting at you.
Yeah. I'm a businessman. We have problems like that sometimes. I have an idea who's behind it.
This is a modern car, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna hit the touchscreen for the navigation.
Okay.
Hit home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
grab a picture of the address for my purposes that shows up when you click home.
You've got it.
So, just to make sure we're clear in things, next time you get shot at, try to keep it away from parks, okay? And he takes another right and pulls up right in front of the park place.
Gone. Yeah, so you've gone all the way around.
Yep.
Some blocks, the SUVs, whatever these guys are being paid for as security, they're being paid way too much. They follow up behind you. A few guys do finally unload out of it, or out of them, rather, but they're not approaching yet.
Yeah.
Mr. Stanley stays in the back.
I step out, close the door, and start walking down the street to where the apartment that my mom lives, that I grew up in.
To where?
He grew up at about a block or so away from the restaurant. So he's just gonna walk back to that apartment building.
Okay, so walking away from the restaurant, away from Jamie and Rodrigo.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In that case, well, I will focus back on them. The big guy. Well, he's hit you. You kicked him. He smiles at Rodrigo. Not a friendly smile. We'll take this up another time, okay?
I'm sure we will.
Good, good. I'm looking forward. Smaller guy is like, Bill. He's on. This is happening a little before the sedan and Dwayne come back. Right. You too? And he's definitely pointing at Jamie and Rodrigo now. Who the hell was that in the car?
Is he referring to our friend, or is he talking about, well, I guess we don't know, like that there was someone else in the car, maybe?
Do you know the man who drove off with my boss?
A friend. He's a friend.
Does your friend know how to play fetch and bring him back?
If there's reason to.
Fine.
Can I just ask, and she glances down at the motorcyclist too and says, what was the point of all this?
Were you directing that question too?
Anyone who might be able to answer.
I'd say the less injured. The biker whose attention you have, because, stepping mildly on his arm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. You got hired online. It's an online prank show. Fix it in post. It's not a huge online prank show, but you may have vaguely heard of it.
Oh, and you thought driving at a building and acting like you were going to shoot everyone in it was a great prank. You thought that was something that you should do. Do you have lawyers? Is that something that your little YouTube show has? Because I'm pretty sure they would want to talk to you about all the liability that you've stacked upon your shoulders with this.
Look, it's not our show. It's not our show. We did full gun safety checks beforehand. It's loaded with blanks. No one was going to get hurt. They just told us to do this. They didn't tell us who's going to be in the car. Sort of looks up ominously at wall of Bill is sort of standing nearby. We had no idea, man. We thought it was all clear. We thought it was good.
This is the most
These two have
irresponsible
always
goddamn
had
thing.
these two have always had more of an eye for paycheck than brains. I've worked with them before. They're idiots.
Mm.
Hey, Rodrigo, that you?
See,
Yeah, yeah.
Rodrigo looks so tired.
Total mistake, man. Total mistake. Yeah, yeah. We could just go. You know, could just. No one's been hurt, right? Sort of looks over at his brother. Much? This is about when the sedan pulls back up. For a small pause, Dwayne, imagine, gets out of the driver's seat. Things get a bit tense again for a moment. Close the door. And now, two things that may divide your attention a little bit. One, Veronica appears at the entrance to the restaurant and perhaps superfluously at this point says, "Someone call an ambulance. It's my father." One.
no.
Two, it's going to be either, I'm going to say either Dwayne or Jamie that notices this, depending on which of you as players you want it to be.
I'll notice.
All right.
I'll be a target.
I wouldn't do that to you on the first session, please. Even if it is a one shot. You notice, Jamie notices something, say something weird as this is happening. This is after Dwayne has stepped out of the car and chosen a direction to go down the street. You sort of remember he used to live nearby. So it is the same turn off or the same turn down the street that he used to take 7 years ago. But past where he is and on the other side of the street, someone is being a bit creepy. Looks like he's maybe 70-year-old guy in a kind of worn, stained tracksuit. Bald, not nearly as rightly good looking. And he's got a sort of crumpled up piece of paper in his hands that are shaking. And he seems to be reciting something from it while staring fixedly at the sedan. I mean, there's some background stuff going on too, but of everything else that's mostly people being shocked by motorcycles and gunfire and cars going around, this guy stands out to Jamie's just general sense of what's right and wrong, or what should be in a scene and what shouldn't.
Yeah.
And at about the same time, as that is when Veronica steps out. So how about this? This is, what time is it now? Do folks want to take a break now to gather your wits, plan for the future, rehydrate? Because I don't know what the weather's like for you, but it's rather warm where I am. And then we can say about 10 minutes and we will carry on with the stream. This goes for people watching as well. Take a pause. Other players, cover your cameras if you want to, but don't turn them off because it messes up the template in the background. And
Yep.
suddenly I become David and everybody gets very confused. Okay.
If only.
Excellent. All right. We'll say about 10 minutes then, and we will
Oh.
be back. And we are back indeed. So, after our brief pause, we still have some rather sad-looking biker cosplayers on the street. We have Bill, uh, who, if anyone is possibly wondering, is generally nicknamed Bill the Brick um, among his associates. You may now know why. He's there. We have the not so large man who's trying to settle things. Presumably, you still have Mr. Stanley in the back of the sedan. He has not left yet. Various other minions, really, kind of standing around, just trying to pretend that they're not little pools of one health damage sponges for some other purpose. And Veronica has just turned up at the doorway, asking someone to call for an ambulance for her father. Across the street, down a ways, there's someone who's really mostly just stood out to Jamie as just looking a bit out of place. What would all of you like to do now?
I kept up,
Okay,
poop, poop, and I rushed to the door, pulling out my phone to call 911.
excellent, excellent. Let's see. Jamie, what do you want to do?
Well, seeing that Rodrigo is calling 911, um, I think I'd like to keep an eye on this weirdo um across the street and maybe get a little closer. You said there's like other things going on in the general vicinity.
I mean, there's the immediate. Uh, Most people's attention is on what's around the car right now, or cars.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people sort of scattered around on the street, but they know that when you hear gunfire, you generally just disappear back into your doorway or, you know, close the window of your building. You don't come out and see what's going on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so there are other people who can see what's happening, but they're not getting involved in what's happening. Uh,
Okay. Um,
so
so you said that I think we all have some knacks that we'll just choose as kind of like as we need them. Was that
uh,
something?
yes, you've got three on your character sheet right now. I think I can run through and do a quick description if you don't have them up in front of you right now.
Is this a new scene?
This will be just the very end of the last
Okay.
scene. So let's see. There we go. The detective. All right. I will get past.
Oh, I was talking about the house rules. You all have three knacks. You don't have to pick one for the session until you use it.
Exactly. So you've got three listed
Okay.
on your character sheet. You can
Okay.
pick any of those three to kick in right now.
Okay. Interesting.
So
All right. Um, let's go with keen-eyed predator.
Okay.
to try to see if I can um, see anything else that's going on in this area, or if it's just this one guy that's being a weirdo.
All right. If I'm remembering properly. Oh, good. I did give you the one I wanted to. So, make.
Yeah, the one I was actually going to ask about, but I don't have it on my sheet,
Mhm.
was most dangerous prey, and I was going to start stalking him, but that's okay.
Okay. Okay. That's all right. That's what XP are for.
Mhm.
Um, all right. Keen-eyed predator basically gives you information about the field, including, safest way in and out, most dangerous threat. Okay. Um, this is going to take a knack skill roll, which would mean whatever you can convince me is the best combination of skill and attribute to use right now to represent
Okay.
sensing danger.
Uh, okay. So,
I mean, probably something mental.
yeah. Um, what a good question that I don't have
Yes.
an immediate answer for.
I think, let's see, looking at what you've got, I mean, empathy to just pick up the mood and vibes of the area, subterfuge
Yeah.
to see if someone is trying to sneak something past, um, and work out who is dangerous in that regard, or you know,
Uh,
Culture to see how far out from the normal this dude is.
it's good. You know, or if you want
uh,
to roll with fewer dice, occult. You see, is this guy weird in a specific way?
Is this
uh,
spooky ooky as well?
let's do subterfuge.
All right. Yes, go with your strengths. Um,
That's what, yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Um, just straight subterfuge or
subterfuge and let's say intellect. So
okay.
roll. So 9 dice, 8 or better are successes. You're going to get at least one answer to a general set of questions, and then more depending on how many successes you get.
Okay, 8 or better, I have 3 successes.
3 successes.
Mhm.
All right. So you can ask a total of 4 questions. And the list you can ask from: what kind of hazards are around?
Mhm.
Where's the nearest exit or the safest way in? Probably not that useful to you. It's the
No,
street. Um, how many hostile enemies are present? And
that's a
who
good one.
who or what is the biggest threat?
Okay, let's go with who or what is the biggest threat
Okay.
and hostile enemies. That one.
Yep.
And is there a third that you said I can ask, or is it just two?
You actually get 4 if you want. Um,
4.
I know you might not need them. I mean, I could let you
I don't
just sort
think
of,
so.
yeah.
I think those two are really the only that I wouldn't be
Okay.
able to tell
All right.
necessarily.
So hostile enemies around. Well, you're almost spoiled for choice here. Um, effectively, everyone who came in with Mr. Stanley, large or small, or the ones who don't even have speaking lines,
Hmm.
hostile to various degrees. Um,
Okay.
you get the feeling that, uh, weirdly enough, it's the smaller of the 2 guys who is,
Small dog syndrome.
yeah, Yeah, you think the angrier one at the moment.
Gotcha.
Um, the guys who are on motorcycles, not really hostile,
Mhm.
more just in pain.
Just inept. Yeah.
Biggest threat right now. You're only going to have a moment to react to this.
Oh no.
The sedan.
Oh,
Is it hurtling at me?
Nope, it's stopped. It's parked. Dwayne left it. All good. No one else has got out of it.
kaboom.
Okay. So it's the gentleman in there,
Oh,
Yeah, probably.
presumably.
okay. I guess there's that too.
So as you're sort of taking all this in that brief, oh wow, I really do have the hunter calling moment.
Hmm.
Yeah, sort of low level danger, and I mean, it starts with these obvious ones, and then your attention goes partly over to the sedan. I assume you're partly also keeping track of weird tracksuit guy.
Yeah, I'm sort of deciding like what direction I want to go in. Like I'm trying to discern like what do I need to address immediately, triaging threats.
Well, maybe this will help. Um, Now this is happening. Well, no, let me get back to you for a moment because I want to catch up with
That's right.
Dwayne, who's been
Yeah, good.
since Zach has been terribly patient. Um, so Dwayne did hear Veronica call it from the doorway. You've probably only gotten a few car lengths down the street towards your apartment when that happened. Everything behind you has gotten weirdly still and quiet for just a moment. Does this change your plans at all? I'm not sure if you're muted or whether something just.
There we go.
There we go.
Um, do I see the guy on the corner staring innately, appearing to be reading um a prayer at some point?
Yep. Yep. Um, do you want to do anything
I I
related to
I,
that?
I assume I've seen Rodrigo head into the building,
Yeah.
and are any of Stanley's poorly hired goons following me?
No, they're kind of milling about a little,
Okay.
presumably
Yeah, I'm
wondering
gonna
when
go see what's
lunchtime
up
is.
with this weird guy then.
Okay, so you start to close the distance to the man we will call the weird guy, known to his friends as the creepy guy.
Only his friends.
As you're doing that, and as part of Jamie's attention is on him, he he must realize that there is a large, strong man coming towards him. Tears up the piece of paper and just points at the sedan. And the interior of the car, the entire thing bursts almost silently into a ball of green flames. The car doesn't explode. It's just whoosh. And he kind of freezes when that happens. So, and this, a heartbeat later, is when Jamie goes, "Oh, yeah, that's why the sedan was dangerous. At least it didn't."
Now I get it.
Yeah, oh, that's obvious now. Guys, I saw that coming. I totally
I
nailed it.
figured it out. I'm a really good investigator, you guys.
The best.
The best. So
San Francisco's finest.
I think Dwayne will be closer to this guy if you want to do anything involving him. Jamie, second action, but before we deal with either of those, let me just take care of Rodrigo's next 30 seconds or so. On the phone, 911.
I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
The explosion happens.
Yes.
I close my phone.
Okay. Yeah, the interior of the car just full of green fire.
Mr. Park still needs help.
Never mind that I said I closed my phone as if I have a flip phone in the year of our Lord 2024.
Hey, I have a flip phone in the year.
Those
for
are
Lord
cool
2024.
now. We have like the flip touch screens now. It's cool.
Yep.
That's definitely what I have. That's definitely what I meant. I say this loud enough that we can hear it, but not loud enough that it travels much further.
Okay.
Titan. I still rush into the restaurant. I've got 1 dot in medicine. Can I see what's going on with Senor Mr. Park?
Make a roll with your 1 dot of medicine plus something mental, I'm going to say.
Let's say cunning.
Sure. Yeah, it's a quick, intuitive kind of thing.
And I'm thinking I get -1 for the still ringing in my ear.
Thank you for remembering that. Yeah, so it'll be difficulty 2. 2 successes will give you an answer.
Can I invoke a path?
Ooh.
As a scrappy brawler, I've seen some stuff before. Maybe that can help me with stuff.
Okay. That'll give you an extra 2 dice that you can roll for that, if I'm remembering right.
Cool. That is 2 successes with a 10, 3 successes with a 10, 4 successes with a 10, 5 successes. Mr. Park makes it out of this.
Your timing is good.
Yes, that was something like 4 10s in a row on 1 die.
So you're a whole bunch of possibilities run through your mind very fast, because this is the cunning part of your brain at work. It's like, did he somehow get shot and we didn't notice? Because he is on his side, clutching his arms over his chest, but looking mostly out of it. Weird little bit of you thinks, elf shot? Elf shot can do that. You've never actually seen it in action, but you know it exists. It can just give someone a stroke, hence elf struck. Nope. Cardiac arrest. Yes. In fact, thinking back on it, when he was first coming out of his office, sweating and trembling, he was probably already having a heart attack. And something here, whether it was the shock of what happened or whether it was because someone threw him across a room.
Listen, I thought there was bullets.
Kind of scaled that up a bit. He is going to need an ambulance, but you can, because with a roll like that, presumably you've helped someone through this before. You can make sure that he's at least going to
Chest
get his
compressions, chest compressions,
yeah,
chest
chest
compressions.
chest compressions. Going to stay unconscious probably, but you can keep that going. Yay, heroism. All right, the outside people. So yes, Dwayne, closer to, this guy looks weirdly familiar for some reason. Don't worry about it yet. Dwayne, closer to guy in the tracksuit. Are you just walking ominously towards him or something else?
The fire is going to cause me to pick up his pace a little bit. um, how big is this guy?
Not big, maybe 5'8", fairly skinny. Yeah, I mean, you could probably just pick him up over your shoulder, unless his tracksuit is a sign that he's secretly an expert sprinter.
Yes. Unless he is secretly an expert sprinter, or I am going to take a quick look around to see if anybody's paying any attention to us, and just scoop him up and keep walking to get a bit more out of view.
Okay. Yeah, he's actually not in much of a state to resist that right now, so you won't even have to roll for it. You just sort of walk. And Jamie sees this as well. Dwayne moving with the sort of inevitability of the seasons and death, just wandering up towards this guy, grabs him and starts to walk him away.
Scoops him.
What do you want to do? Sorry, with Jamie, actually.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I didn't know. What do I want to do? Well, so if Dwayne's got tracksuit guy,
Mm-hmm. Little scattering of paper around his feet as he goes.
then I'm gonna see if there's any survivors in the sedan, I guess.
Okay. So, the sedan. The fire.
I'm gonna tell the motorcyclists to here.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. They're gradually trying to get themselves up onto their knees. You do see the smaller of Mr. Stanley's men is sort of backing away, his attention fully back on the sedan right now.
Mm-hmm.
The big guy, Bill the Brick, turns towards the sedan, pulling back a fist. Now, I forget, you've got at least a die in science or something similar, don't you? Yes, you do. That's all you need.
Yep.
All right. Fire inside the car, sort of contained. If he breaks that window and lets in a whole bunch of oxygen from the outside, the whole thing may well explode.
And this is Bill the Brick.
This is Bill the Brick, who does not remember these basic lessons and has never watched Backdraft.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna yell to him to not do that because more fire bad. I'm trying to like convey to him in as few words as possible the urgency of the situation.
No,
And
what
I
does
feel
that
like-
even better? Bullet wounds.
Why would I shoot Bill?
He can't break the window if there's a bullet in his kneecap.
Oh, I mean, he could.
Yeah, he falls
I'm-
at
He
his
needs
first
his
instead of
kneecap
his
to
first.
break the window. He breaks it with his face.
Right.
don't
But
miss.
yeah, no, I'm gonna shout. Yeah, exactly. Like the last thing I need to do is shoot at miss. The bullet goes through the window, and causes the
Obviously,
problem
don't
anyway.
miss. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
So you're just going to shout, basically, don't, that'll only make it worse.
Yes.
He's,
Big fire, go boom.
yeah. Just don't put it that way. Make Bill mad. He does hesitate because now he's sort of confused, and the fire is dimming and getting replaced more and more with just a thick, greasy smoke that's blackening the inside. Probably made at least a little bit of Mr. Stanley. Now, your original question on this was, of course, is whoever's in the sedan okay?
I think you just answered that.
The answer is no. On the bright side, if for no other reason than because of this, you do hear the sound of sirens in the distance. Could be ambulance, could be police.
Could be fire.
It's not Titan because they don't use sirens. They just turn up. Yes.
I was going to say, why would they announce themselves?
I know. So at least you know there is some sort of help coming, or help. And we will call that, for all intents and purposes, the end of the scene, in case anyone wants to switch out next for what's coming up. Let me take care of Dwayne. The guy that he's holding on to is just saying, I did it, I did it, I did it, I finally did it.
What did you do, sir?
Looks over at you. He doesn't seem too concerned that you're sort of manhandling him down the street. And now that you're a lot closer together, you recognize him from Park's place before the Heracles incident. He was one of the three Steves. There were three Steves there who were regulars. There was Big Steve, who was big. There was Two Drink Steve, lovely man until his third drink, when he just became incredibly racist. And there's this guy, Even Steve. Even Steve got his name because anytime that he would go to the washroom, he would stand up and say, Even Steve Douglas must use the facilities. Every single time. It's like his one joke. And so people would just call him Even Steve. And that's him. He didn't used to dress this way. He used to dress more like a retired business guy, dress shirt, slacks, nice shoes. Didn't look quite this out of it either. But the Heracles incident messed up a lot of people. But he looks at you, and you're not sure whether he recognizes you or not. You think probably not, but you definitely recognize him. Yeah. I saved the neighborhood, I saved it from him and his co-conspirators in the cults. And they were going to destroy everything. And now he won't. And it worked, and it worked. I didn't think it would, but it worked. Best money I ever spent.
Since this is a new scene and we can switch out next, I'm switching out for Aura of Greatness Empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get a essentially vibe check on him to see how I can appeal to him in a way that he will seem less will seem more understandable, seem less manic man on a mission.
Okay. So empathy with the aura of greatness bonus plus your choice.
If I can suggest, if this is something that may take a while, and listening to his blabbering, resolve to have the patience to work with him through, kind of using some of the tips that from my therapist friend that I've picked up along the way to work him through to a point where he's more coherent and speaking in a more cognizant manner.
Okay. Make a roll on that, please. So resolve plus empathy with the bonus from aura of greatness.
With the bonus aura of greatness, that's going to be 4 successes.
4 successes. All right. We'll give sort of the abbreviated version of this. Even Steve has, for years now, been trying to pick up the right kind of magic from somewhere, anywhere, that would let him take down both Mr. Stanley and Miss/Dr. Afridi, who he considers grave and existential threats. He is a little jumbled on just how. I mean, we're not talking like Quetzalcoatl Anon level of strangeness, but in that sort of.
Did you say Quetzalcoatl Anon?
Yes, that doesn't exist. That would just be weird.
Leaving chat.
But he's definitely got that kind of conspiratorial mindset that never rejects information. It just kind of attaches new pieces to it, even if it doesn't all make sense as a whole. He will let you know that he has been trying to get other people to pay attention to just what a threat they are. He tried talking to Veronica about it, warning Mr. Park about it, but they never listened. They eventually told him to stop coming back to Park's place. He thought I could take them down at a distance. He had a whole collection of cursed things that he'd picked up and that he just started to mail to their offices. Didn't seem to work for some reason. But then finally he got his hands on that one spell. And now it's worked. Now he just has to take out Dr. Afridi.
Steve, what is your plans are for taking out Dr. Afridi?
I'll go back to Simon. He sold me that spell. I'm sure he'll sell me another one. I still got some money.
Simon live around here?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a store. Simon's House of Magic and Mystery. You've probably seen it before when you were younger, but it wasn't your thing. Just there are lots of local little occult shops.
Yeah. Might have gone in on Halloween around that time.
Yeah, they all kind of blend together. And if it's a guy running it who calls himself Simon, that's like finding a teenage Wiccan who calls herself Raven. It really doesn't narrow it down.
Yeah. Let's go talk to Simon and see what he says.
Yeah, you sort of remember your way there. Okay. Meanwhile, you two, where are we now?
As a note, Dwayne is no longer carrying even Steven, and they are walking together, freeing up a hand so that he can text what is going on
Oh,
to his
good.
friends.
That's very kind of you. So, while I look up a few things, just if you do any text exchanges, just work through those now.
So, Dwayne, what do you tell us in the text?
Um, the guy who is has done away with Mr. Stanley. Mr. The reason for Mr. Stanley's incident may be friendly on our side, and maybe not in the right way, but isn't at least a threat to us. We have the same goals, just different means of attaining it.
I text back into the group chat a bunch of fire emojis.
I get none of these texts because I am currently giving chest compressions.
That's right, you're actually doing something.
So here's a thought I had.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a thought I had. Um, Sometimes a good enough force can like restart a heart. You get hit hard enough, it does a thing. Sometimes,
Uh-oh.
maybe, especially when you're a, you know, being of legend and all.
This is a gamble.
No, I'm just giving the idea. I'm not saying I'm doing it. I'm just positing the idea for our storyteller to consider if that's a reasonable idea to have.
Well,
Don't we like the shape of this like hedge I'm doing?
yes. What I would say, if um, if you decided that you wanted to invoke your Pantheon path, then make some kind of appropriate skill roll. That would open things up for being able to add a twist of fate, which you rarely get to do at origin level. So I really want to encourage people to.
Sure. Okay, cool. Um, let's say this sounds a lot like might plus medicine.
Mm-hmm. And if you're now remind our audience and other players of what your Pantheon path is.
My Pantheon path is I'm gonna wreck this name, but Geezer Khan's Mighty Fist.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, this sounds like a perfect punch the problem kind of an issue that you've got going on right now. So yeah, might plus medicine if you want to get the heart a going.
Yeah, let's do this thing.
And an extra,
2 dice, yeah.
yeah.
That is 3 successes with a 10. 3 successes.
All right. So you've got, as you're doing this, I mean, you've got Veronica looking on, you've got Julian looking on, and maybe
Anxiety is real.
anxiety is real. maybe they noticed something a little more than usual happening when you did that. But maybe they didn't. Who knows? I mean, if there are any sort of supernatural detection wards in the restaurant, they didn't go off. So that's nice. And yeah, Mr. Park has an irregular, but you think gradually stabilizing heartbeat. He is going to live. He's going to be seriously bruised, but he's
They
going
cracked a
to
rib
live.
probably, but that
Probably
happens
something
when
like that.
that happens when you do CPR anyway, actually.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So there was that going on. Other vehicles are on their way. Confusion, chaos outside. Both right. Jamie's still there. Fire is starting to settle down inside the car. You are texting little flame emojis over to Dwayne,
While I
which
save a man's life.
presumably you're just letting Dwayne know that whatever's going on with you is lit.
It sure is.
I don't know how these things work. Still figuring out
Neither does
emoticons, and then
Jamie.
you all changed. So, but have just to be sure on the player side, the two of you have had enough of that part of an exchange that you wanted. Good. So, for Jamie, Mr. Stanley's people are, needless to say, in shock. The smaller guy, whose name you finally get because he pulls out his phone and says, Carswell here. Boss is down. Get everyone to the house fast as possible. Ambulances, cops, fire are already on the way. Get them all together. This might be an attack. Might be an attack. I'm pretty sure it's an attack. So he seems to have just switched into damage control entirely, efficient, business-like mood. The big guy, though, is still just kind of standing there staring at the car. I think he's crying. Just a little bit. He's still got one fist up. And he's just staring.
Oh, that's really sad.
Thank you. I do try. Anything?
Uh, yeah, I'm gonna try to talk to him. Hey, buddy. Um, he was your boss? Was he your friend?
My boss since I was 12. Since they kicked me out. Family. Good man.
I'm sorry.
You know who did this?
We have suspicions.
Leans down a little bit so we can look you eye to eye. You tell me who did this. I'm going to murder them. It's going to take a while. Straightens back up again. Yeah. Right.
I'm gonna text Dwayne. Maybe walk him around the other way.
We're going shopping. I'm not sure. Things okay? You doing all right over there?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry, you're talking to her?
Yeah, or surrounding the
Yeah, I'm
place.
gonna say, Big Bill, the upset, um, desires murder.
He craves violence.
Respond to the text. Should probably talk to the people who shot them.
Funny story, blanks.
I finally open up my phone and read the messages and go, we gotta get out. We need to leave. Titan.
I'll meet you back at the old spot soon. Tell Mom I said hi. I'll be there soon.
Let's see what time is it. Yeah, let me just wrap up one last little thing for tonight with Dwayne at Simon's House of Magic and Mystery. It is a little hole in the wall kind of occult-ish shop. Storefront, could do with some dusting, but it's got pretty much what you would expect in there. Images of gods and goddesses. All the gods are really surprisingly ripped and mostly shirtless. All of the goddesses look like they should be airbrushed onto the sign of some van somewhere. Also,
That's broken down at the farm he works at.
that sort of thing. Also, falling out of their clothes. It's a style. It's a genre. There are some candles that have been in the windows for too long and are kind of half melted. There are various pewter symbols, amulets, that kind of thing, because it's that quality of place. But as you get there, Steve sort of relaxes a little. You've got to meet my friend, Simon Trismegistus. He's great. He's a sorcerer.
Yeah, let's meet him.
And with that, he's actually, as much as he can, starting to take the lead here. Opens up the door of the place, little bells ring up above. It is a cluttered, fairly disorganized kind of spot that smells of that odd mixture of incense odors that you get in every occult shop everywhere. Can't really narrow it down to, yeah, oh, I'm glad to be playing with people who all nod when I say that.
Lots of sandalwood.
Yep.
So much patchouli.
And at the other end of it, it's not a long place by any means. There is a man. He is tall, slightly balding, neatly trimmed goatee or Van Dyke. I forget the difference. I think it's a Van Dyke. Black, one little streak of white hair through it, hair back, wearing definitely a red velvet smoking jacket, a nice dress shirt. He's standing behind the counter, hands laid flat on it. Good afternoon. Welcome to the House of Magic and Mystery. I am Simon, called Trismegistus the Thrice Great for the extent of my magical powers, and it was told to me before you arrived that, oh, Kali Krishna Christ, Steve, is it you back again? I told you never to come back here. think actually that's where I'm going to pause for the night.
He's just making friends everywhere he goes.
Steve is a friendly guy.
He's a friendly guy. Friends all over.
He's just a little dude. He's just a guy.
Just
Little guy.
just a weird little
Just a
guy.
little guy.
Oh. Now, start to wind things down. I'll say, first of all, thank you to the players for taking the time out of your evening and anything else that might be going on in this world so you could drop in and get a sense of what the general mood I'm going for in Farewell to Heroes is like. I would be happy to pick it up some more if people want to any of it. We can arrange that on our own and so on and so on. Otherwise, tomorrow, probably bright and early, because as far as I can tell, James Bell does not sleep. Bright and early
Can't
tomorrow,
sleep. Got stuff to do.
You'll get the full preview chapter for this that includes the general sort of mood, changes to the mechanics, a very large supernatural flamingo, and adventures both at origin and hero level. So I should say last, hello, my name's Geoffrey. Let's do one more round of reminders and introductions for the people here. And I'm going to start with Zach.
Hello again. I am Zachary Naldra, he, him. I am a occasional freelance writer and community content writer for various lines. And if you want to go and see some of the things that I've written that all has been published, Drive Through RPG is having a sale. So check the link that I just put in there. If you want to wait for something to actually be published by Onyx Path, that will probably be Scion God. So keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah. David?
Hi, my name is David, they, them, writer and developer for Scion and a whole bunch of other stuff. If you want to find me online, the easiest place right now would be Tumblr, but I'm not telling you my Tumblr. So if you want to see anything I've done, the most recent thing to go out to backers would be Tomb of Memory for Exalted Essence. The most recent thing to drop would be Trinity Continuum Ether, and most likely the closest thing to being published for Scion would either be God or Titans Rising, whichever one gets there first. So check those things out.
Thank you. And Coyote.
My name is Coyote, she, her, they, them. I do a lot of writing for a lot of different lines. I'm also going to drop a link in the chat because that was a great idea. I
Send it
super,
to me in
like this.
the Zoom chat so that I can drop it because you need mod to send a link in the chat.
Oh, there you go. I super enjoyed this. I'm a big fan of settings where it's a little harder for the protagonists to do what they need to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, I hope that you and everybody else who decides to continue to support Mythic Shards, because we're, I think, only about halfway through our fundraising period. After this week, where we introduced Farewell to Heroes, after that is Four Color Heroes, which has already had an actual play, I believe. And then after that, Space Odyssey. I'm looking forward to both of those so that this entire book can give people a sense of just how broad a range of material Scion can cover without, I'll say, betraying or giving up its basic principles as a game of mythic adventure. So with that, I am just going to go rehydrate because this is exhausting, people. It's exhausting. So, for everyone who's been watching, thank you. Good night for now. To the quiet presence that has been doing all of the tech support in the background, thank you even more. And I will call that a night. So, ciao.
Bye bye bye.